Men, naked and cold. What does these words have in common? If you answered shower, you guessed wrong. I'm speaking about the HADAKA Matsuri, also known as the Naked Men Festival. Naked Men Festival? Well, let me explain. Nahoi Shinji, that's the original name, is a Shinto ritual dating back to 767, during the Nara period. It all began when the regent governor ordered the priests of the Kokubujin shrines to perform cleansing ceremonies to rid the Owari region of plagues and calamities. People created their own rituals and let's call them traditions. These brought us to controversial stuff, like human sacrifices. Yes, you heard that right. The villagers of Konomiya captured and forced a man from outside the village to be the Shin Otoko, or the man of God. This man was offered as a human sacrifice to the Konomiya shrine. Due to the brutality of the rite, the festival was declared illegal in 1744, and in the early Meiji period it was again restored, but modified into something less brutal and more civilized. The human sacrifice is now a selected volunteer who, for 3 days prior to the festival, will remain in solitude, praying and eating a simple rice diet, with tea and pickles. So, with this out of the way, let's talk about the modern festival. How does it work? We will focus on the HADAKA Matsuri held in Inazawa, that is the oldest and most important one. Each year, the festival is held on the 13th day of the new year on the lunar calendar. On that day, the Konomiya Jinja shrine is filled with people from the early morning hours. The first to arrive are women and the elderly. Since they cannot participate, they go to the temple where the Shin Otoko receives them, bless them and absorb their evils. Before the Unlucky Man offerings parade, an Okagami mochi, a staggering 4 tons mochi cake, is brought to the temple by several men. Regular Kagami mochi can be found in houses around the new year. It is believed to prevent house fires or domestic disasters for the year to come. At around 15 p.m., groups of unlucky men advance through the streets of the city. In Japanese tradition, the ages of 25 and 42 are believed to harbor bad luck. And so thousands of men of those ages come from all around the Owari region, wearing fundoshi and tabi, traditional white loincloths and socks. They also carry with them an offering called Nahoi Zasa, which they swing and spin while shouting Small interesting fact. It seems that this word has lost its true meaning, but is used nonetheless as a cheer and a peaceful shout. The Nahoi Zasa consists of a large or several large bamboo trunks, to which they tie the Naoi Gire, on which they write their age and wishes for the new year. It is said that if you receive one of these cloth strips, it will bring you good luck. Meanwhile, in the sanctuary, the Shin Otoko protectors gather to discuss the final details for the rescue of the Shin Otoko. After all the groups of unlucky men have given their offerings to the temple, the last ones to arrive are the patrol of the water throwers, called Tewo Ketai, who are responsible for throwing ceremonial water into the crowds. The festival continues, and for all the people and families gathered, there are traditional stalls of Japanese street foods and games. The day goes on and everyone waits for the appearance of the Shin Otoko. Nobody knows exactly when he will appear, but it's usually in the late afternoon. The climax of the event comes when the Shin Otoko appears completely naked in the vicinity of the sanctuary, guarded by ex-Shin Otoko. At that moment, he is surrounded by the mass of unlucky men, who begin to push each other to reach the Shin Otoko and touch him to pass on their bad luck. The Shinotoko is touched, hit and slapped as he attempts to fulfill his own objective to reach the interior of the sanctuary. The Tewokitai also throw buckets of cold water to disperse the unlucky men, away from the Shinotoko and his protectors. Almost reaching the inner doors of the temple, the leader of the Shinotoko protectors comes to the rescue. Half naked and with a white rope tied around his waist, he begins to move over the unlucky men in any way he can. Once the leader of the Shinotoko's protectors makes contact with the Shinotoko, the other protectors stretch out the white rope to drag both inside the temple. The tension intensifies. After the huge efforts of the protectors, they manage to get the Shinotoko inside the temple. Once inside, with the protectors and the staff of the event, the Shinotoko greets the people from within the sanctuary, and with this, the main event ends. Around 3 AM in the morning of the next day, there is another ceremony called Yonahoi Shinji, which is known by very few people. In this ceremony, the Shinotoko carries a Tsuchimochi tied to his back, and with the help of two priests, he walks in circles several times around the sacred place. With this, all the people's bad luck collected by the Shinotoko is transferred directly to the mochi. This will be then buried in a secret place in a nearby forest. Hours after, at around 8 AM, one last event is held. In this one, the Okagami mochi that is brought to the shrine at the beginning of the celebrations will be cut and distributed among all the people attending that day. It is said that if you eat a piece of that mochi, you will not get sick in the summer of that same year. Every year, a multitude of people stand in line to buy a piece of this mochi. Also on this day, the Shinotoko will make an appearance to greet the people again. Many take the opportunity to make pictures with him or for him to pick up their children. A last note before concluding the video. In 2024, this year, women for the first time were allowed to take part in the festival. They were never formally prohibited from joining the festival in the past, and there have been offerings made by women. Nonetheless, the unspoken rule is that the festival was a male-only event. But unlike their male counterparts, the 40 women who took part in the ancient festival were fully clothed, wearing traditional purple Japanese robes. Although they were permitted to carry out the Nahoi Zasa, they were excluded from the main ceremony, that is, the final man mosh pit. And with this last notion, I'll close the video. If you want to see more of this, check out the awesome video by Wow Ryu only in Japan. Thanks for your presence till now, and see ya in the next video.